Monomials, not monomials. Monomials. Monomial means one. Mono, one. Polynomial, poly meaning many. So many monomials. Standard form, polynomial in descending order by degree, and the degree is the largest degree. So here's a monomial, 2x squared, something like that. Here's a polynomial, 2x squared plus 3x minus 4. That's actually a trinomial. There's 3 of them. Anything after 3 is just a polynomial. And this is in standard form because the powers go 2, 1, and that's actually x to the 0, but we don't write x to the 0. We don't ever write that. Because anything to the 0 power is 1. But we don't write x to the 0. But it is in order, 2, 1, 0. So that's your standard form. And then the degree of this polynomial that I wrote, this specific one, is 2. That's the highest degree, the highest power. So we have degree of 0 is called a constant, which means if you have 3x to the 0, anything to the 0 power is 1. So this is the same as 3 times 1, so it's 3. So if you have a 0 degree, that's a constant. A polynomial example would be the number 3. The name using the number of terms, monomial. There's only one term. Terms are separated by either a plus or a minus. 1 degree, a degree of 1 is linear. A polynomial example would be 2x plus 4. Name using number of terms, this would be a binomial. Now you could still have just another example would be like just 3x. That's linear, but that would still be a monomial. So monomial meaning one term. It's still linear. It's still a power of 1, but it only has one term. A quadratic polynomial example, 3x squared plus 2x minus 4, something like that. And so the name using number of terms, that's a trinomial. 3 terms, tricycle, has 3 wheels, right? So trinomial. A cubic, that's a power of 3. We could have x to the 3rd minus 2x squared plus 4x plus 1, something like that. Now if you have 4 terms, anything over 3 is just a polynomial. Poly meaning many. Polynomial. After 3, it's just, we just say, all right, there's lots of them. Now you could still have a cubic that's a monomial. X to the 3rd. That's it. If you just had x to the 3rd, that's a cubic because it's a power of 3 and only have one term, so it'd be a monomial. So cubics don't have to be polynomials. Quartic. X to the 4th minus 6. That's a quartic. Power 4. But what is it according to the number of terms? That's a binomial. There's only 2. Binomial. 2 terms. 3 is trinomial. Anything after 3 is just a polynomial. Quintic, we could have x to the 5th minus 6x plus 2. Quintic meaning the highest power is 5, and so this would be a trinomial. If I only had 3 terms, but the highest power was 5. So you can have a combination of lots of different things going on here. Write each polynomial in standard form. State the degree. Classify by degree and by number of terms. All right, so some of this is pretty straightforward. Put in standard form. Well, we can combine like terms. So negative x squared plus x squared, those actually cancel out because negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So the standard form is just 2x. The degree is 1, x to the 1st. Name by degree, this is linear. Power of 1 is linear. If we graph this, it'd be a line. Name by number of terms, this is a monomial. Monomial. Standard form, I need the highest power first. 4x to the 3rd plus 7x squared plus 10. The degree, 3. Name, cubic. Name by number of terms, trinomial. There are 3 terms on this one. Doesn't have to be 3 terms for a cubic, but in this one, they have 3 terms. You can have more or less. Write each polynomial, same instructions, right? All right. Well, this is 12x squared. When you multiply, you add the powers. That's 12x squared. This is plus 2x to the 4th. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. You add the powers when you multiply. So standard form, the 2x to the 4th has to be first, then plus 12x squared. The degree is the highest power, so that means 4. The name, quartic. Like a quarter, right? 4 quarters. Name by number of terms, this is a binomial. Oh, that one's straightforward. It's got to be x plus 9. The degree is 1. The name by degree, that's linear. Power of 1, if we graph that, it'd be a line. Has a y-intercept of 9 and a slope of 1. And this is a binomial. There are 2 terms, like a bicycle, tricycle. And then it's a unit. What's a unicycle? Is that what it's called? I've never ridden. I've tried to ride one of those. Incredibly difficult. Standard form, 6. Degrees, 0. Name by degree. It's a constant. Meaning there's no variable. It's constant. 6 stays constant. 6 stays 6. When you throw a variable in there, it varies. Depends on the variable. Depends on the value, right? So this is a monomial. 1. Mono, 1. Highest power first, but you got to be careful. It's negative 3x to the 4th, plus x to the 3rd, minus 2x squared. You can't rearrange and make the signs different. You can't all of a sudden make a negative into a positive. So you got to be careful when you're rearranging. Don't lose signs when you rearrange. This is a 4th, and it's a quartic. Quartic, not D, quartic. And then this is a trinomial. The number of terms, there's 3, tricycle, like 3 wheels. This is a trinomial. When adding or subtracting polynomials, you can only combine terms with the same degree. Same variables to same powers. That's the only thing you can add. All right, so we have 2 plus 1 is 3. Negative 5 plus negative 1 is negative 6. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Classify each result by degree. This is a quadratic. That's your parabola, right? Negative b over 2a, all that good stuff. And number of terms, trinomial. There are 3 terms, like a tricycle, trinomial. Questions on that? A lot of notes today. Keep paying attention. You guys are doing awesome, as always. Classify each result by degree and number of terms. 5 minus negative 2. That's 7. Now we have, you got to be careful here because do you see an x squared in the first one? There's no x squared in the first parentheses. That's like having a 0 there. There is a 0x squared in here. So 0 minus 8 is negative. Oh, I need to do the x to the 3rd first. How about minus 2x to the 3rd? And I don't see an x to the 3rd over here at all. Well, now I don't see an x squared in here, so that's 0 minus 8 is negative 8x squared. I don't have an x in the first one, so that's like 0 minus negative 1. That's plus 1, right? Negative, negative. That'll be a positive. And then we have 9 minus 2. 9 minus 2 is 7. This is a quartic, and it's a polynomial. If you have more than 3 terms, it's a polynomial. Monomial, binomial, trinomial, everything else is a polynomial. Technically, everything's a polynomial. A binomial is still considered a polynomial, but we say binomial to be specific, that there's actually 2, if you want to get really technical. When multiply, we know that. Oh, okay, so now we're multiplying. Simplify, classify each result by degree. We're going to distribute. So this one's multiplication. We have 15x to the third. When you multiply, you add the powers. So 2 plus 1 is 3. And then we have plus 6x squared. So we distribute the 3x, add 3x squared, add the powers. This is a cubic, and it is a binomial. It goes constant, linear, quadratic, cubic, quartic, quintic. Same thing, we're going to multiply and then classify. All right, so we have first 24x squared, outside minus 15x, inside plus 16x, minus 10, last is negative 10. So 24x squared plus x minus 10. So there we've multiplied, we've combined everything we can. We're going to classify by degree. This is a quadratic. That's your parabola. That's your negative b over 2a. Quadratic, and it's a trinomial. I didn't leave myself a whole lot of room for these. Trinomial. 3 terms in the end. There's 3 terms. This one, in order to multiply, we're going to distribute twice. We need to distribute the 2x through. So I'm going to distribute the 2x. That gives me 2x to the third plus 14x squared minus 18x. That's distributing the 2. 2 times 1, 2 times 7, 2 times 9. Now we're going to distribute the 1 through. That's going to be x squared. It's 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 7 is 7. And 1 times negative 9 is negative 9. And if you line them up like I did there, then you can combine, I think, rather easily. If you do it all in one line, it gets a little confusing. So I put the x squared under the x squared and so on. So we have 2x to the third plus 15x squared minus 11x minus 9. So we combine the 2. We combine the like terms. This is a cubic because the highest power is 3, and it's just a polynomial. Polynomial. Because we have more than 3 terms. It goes monomial, binomial, trinomial. Everything after that, polynomial. This third one here, you can't distribute the x. You can't do that right away. I mean, you can, but it'd be totally wrong. Because this is x times x minus 5 times x minus 5. That's what that means. With the squared, there's 2 of those binomials. I multiply these 2 first, which is x squared minus 5x, and minus 5x is minus 10x, and then plus 25. So first, outside, inside, last. But outside and inside are both negative 5, giving you negative 10. Distribute the x. X to the third minus 10x squared plus 25x. So you add the powers. When you multiply through, you add the powers. And the power of that x is 1. So we're just adding 1 to each power. This is a cubic trinomial. Cubic trinomial. Now the last one probably has the most work in it. Here we go. Pay attention now. Don't drift off on me, and you're not. You guys are awesome. Look, go full screen so I can extend it without making it more narrow. We got to pick 2 of these. You can only multiply 2 things at a time. No matter if you have numbers or variables or what. You can only multiply 2 at a time. So maybe let's multiply these 2 together. We got first 3x squared. Outside, plus 3, oh, not 3. Slow down, Mr. Smith, slow down. Plus 9x. Inside, plus x. Last, plus 3. So this combines to 3x squared plus 10x plus 3. But we still have this x plus 1 to deal with. So we took the first two together and we multiplied and combined everything. This is all we can do with the first two. Now we have to multiply by the one that's left over, the x plus 1. The way I do this is I distribute the x through there. Distribute the x. Even though it's on the back end, that's okay. Doesn't matter. 3x to the third plus 10x squared plus 3x. So we add 1 to all of the powers when you distribute through. Now we'll distribute the 1. Distribute the 1 through. Well, that's just 1 times anything is itself. So that means we have 3x squared plus 10x plus 3. And I lined them up. Line the x squareds up, line the x's up. 3x squared plus 13, no, that's to the third. Plus 13x squared plus 13x plus 3. This is a cubic, another cubic polynomial. So that's by the degree, that's by the terms. Any questions on any of this? You want to go back to anything and look at it? Okay.